Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike. Today I want to talk to you about the future of Silverhawks, Ramen Toy, and Super 7. Now, looking at this, I just reviewed the Quicksilver from Ramen Toy, and I like it. It's a great modern take, modern interpretation, a bit stylized, a bit shiny, not quite chrome, but it's good enough for me to want a shelf full of them. Monstar should be coming out within a month. I should probably have this in my hands within a month. And that's a super sexy, shiny paint job that guy's got. And he looks really good. And I kind of like the fact that he is stylized. He is a little bit different from the original source material. But I'm worried that these might be the only two. Guess what? My worries are over. We're going to take a look at the future of Silverhawks, Ramen Toy, and Super 7. Their involvement, their lack of involvement, and what they've got going on over there. Because I got all those pre-ordered too. Talk about this and more coming up. Back in 1986, Kenner made Silverhawks, and they are some of the best looking figures that I have seen with that vac metallized chrome look to them. They look amazing, but for the most part, the playability with the vast majority of these figures was little to none, if not zero, because all they did is have their arms pop out. That was not very much fun. I remember as a kid, I was disappointed, and I didn't give the line a chance because of the limited articulation and the limited playability. But here we are, 40 years later almost, and we want modern takes on Silverhawks. With one figure already released from Ramen Toy, I have the excitement that we could get several more of these figures, and this one does look good, but imagine this figure with a golden color copper kit. Imagine a figure similar to this, Steel Will, or Steel Heart, or imagine all of the other fun characters that we could get from this line. As you can see, size-wise, they fit in well with the classics masterpiece, Masters of the Universe. They're not really masterpiece. And then they also fit very well with the Ultimates, what we see with Super 7 and their Thundercats line. Monstar is going to be a huge figure. He's going to be big and beefy and exciting. I do look forward to him and seeing what they did different with this. We have magnets utilized in the Quicksilver. What's going to get utilized in this? What is going to be a little bit different? The accessories look fantastic. There are so many accessories, many different hands, different heads, kind of some different stuff going on with this. Some flame effects that we didn't see with Quicksilver. And we're supposed to be getting a stand for your Quicksilver, a flight stand for Quicksilver, which is all really awesome, pretty cool stuff. Here's a picture of the box. I don't know why it's so granny, but anyway, it's really exciting to be getting these in 2022 and further. But what I'm understanding is that they're not going to be called Silverhawks anymore. So if you look at the box, you're going to have the same question that so many others did. Why does it say Super 7 on there? So my understanding is Super 7 approached Ramen Toy and asked them if they wanted to license this out. Now, obviously, Super 7 has the license because they're making Silverhawks also, and we're about to talk about those. So with that, it kind of stopped me in my tracks for a second when I first heard about this, because I've never heard of a company paying a royalty to another company for a license, but yet having the ability to sub-license it out. But then again, this is one of those rare properties that we never see, and who knows who owns the copyright. And with all of this legal mumbo-jumbo that could be involved with this, it might be one of those strange one-off situations, so I just kind of spread the word that it was sub-licensed. Maybe it's not. See, Ramen Toy started making their Centurions line, but it's not Centurions. See, it's called 80s Commanders. 80s Commanders, they all have their own names, they all have their own backstories, they all have a file card, and none of them are called anything or associated with Centurions. They just look very similar. But they are different enough. There actually is enough difference to say it's about 20% different, and legally I'm sure that's enough to say, well, you're not exactly Centurions. You look at that and you think Centurions, but if you put them side by side with a picture still, or side by side with the original toy, there's enough differences. Ramen's continuing with their 80s Commanders, going right along with their 80s Commanders, and that is a fun line. They are modern takes on a vintage property adjacent in a way to sort of get some fun, but way different. Like, these are not exactly knockoffs. They're not copying anything really. They're making their own line, but yeah, they look very similar to Centurions. So their Silverhawks are supposed to be called Titanium Titans. That was going to be the original name for them before they thought they had a license. And the good thing about being licensed, they want to do the right thing. And of course, BBTS and some of those big distributors will carry their product also. And so that's a good thing. It's a win-win for everyone. It's a win-win for the license holder. It is a win-win for Ramen. It's a win-win for the fans to have more accessibility to this. Going forward, I believe they're just going to revert back to the original plan, Plan A, because Plan B's not working out. I started hearing rumors about this loss of a license and that they weren't going to make them anymore, so I started looking into this. And so what I'm finding out is that Super 7 didn't really have the ability to sub-license it out, and they're even saying that that's not what happened. In an interview with Toy Bro, Brian Flynn, the owner or CEO or whatever he is with the old Super 7, he did say that he knows of Ramen Toy, but he didn't say that he was involved with it and that the licensor should allow them to make it. It's basically what he said. He said that Super 7 does not own the license or the copyrights. They are not the licensor, so they do not have that ability. So he admitted that right here on this video, but Ramen thought they subbed it out from them. So going forward as a third-party company and making these Titanium Titans and not calling them Silverhawks anymore, I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that. In fact, I cover Fans Toys. Fans Toys, X-Transbots, MMC. These are third-party companies that make masterpiece Transformers based on a franchise, based on Transformers, right? But they're Transformers adjacent. They don't call this guy Galvatron. They called it FT-16 Sovereign. And if you look at this, all of the people that are like Fans Toys fanboys, they want to say that this thing looks exactly like the screen. If you put a screenshot and a toy side by side, you can pick at least 20% difference in this. And that's how they get away with it. When it comes to these properties from the 80s, it is a rough water, a battle to get a license to it because guess what? There really aren't license owners. A lot of them let the copyrights expire and they don't truly own it, but they have enough power. These big companies that think they own it have enough lawyers that they can tie up a small company in legal issues for a while until they run out of money and they can't fight the battle. So with all of this, even if a company doesn't own the copyrights, and they claim they do, if they have enough lawyers, they can do whatever they want. This is an example right here where they wanted to keep copyrights to Visionaries and Lee Orick's name, Matt Tracker's name and Mask, and ROM, which I don't know if that's a very vintage one, and then, of course, Transformers Jetfire, which we see they made another one down the road. So this SDCC set looks like it's a fan love letter. Really, it's just maintaining their copyrights. You think Hasbro would do better about maintaining the copyrights. They have to maintain the copyrights to each and every name of their Transformers, and they let Reflector go. They lost it, so they had to name Reflector Refractor, which is kind of strange, but maybe they got back on track, and now they can call it Reflector on a reissue down the road. Who knows? But I see this all the time. There's at least 12 examples, but this is the first one that popped to mind because I remember laughing at it, but it's actually not a funny situation. It's not a laughing game. Transformers has been on the shelf. The IP has been owned by Hasbro and consistently on the shelf, except 93 to 96. I didn't see much product. But aside from that, there's been some sort of Transformer on the shelf at the Walmarts and the Targets and all that kind of stuff. So getting back to small companies, making something a third party that is stylized and different from the original cartoon or the original source material or the original toys, especially for a franchise that actually let their license and copyrights lapse, I'm perfectly fine with it. Now let's get into Super 7. Now, the first thing I want to say about Super 7 is I have every single one of their Thundercats pre-ordered, a couple of them doubles, every single Silverhawks pre-ordered, a couple of them doubles, and every single G.I. Joe pre-ordered and tripled up on their bat. So I love Super 7 and Super 7 products, and I'm all about it, and I know they had a couple of issues with Wave 2 with their Thundercats, but going forward, I love what they're doing. Now, I have really nothing negative to say about them, but with this situation, I really don't know their level of involvement, what really happened and what went down, and was there really money exchange hands or any contract signed or any of that kind of stuff. Let Ramen Toy be licensed and make licensed Silverhawks, but evidently Ramen Toy thought they had the license. They were under the impression they would not have put Super 7's name on the box, and they would not have called them Silverhawks. They would have been called the original name. The original name was Titanium Titans. So there are 3 waves already announced for Super 7, and they're officially licensed Silverhawks. Now, I do want to say Super 7 has a slew of different properties. They have been making this for a long time. They've been in the game for a long time. Brian knows the way to navigate around throughout these copyrights and do everything official and do it the right way. And so with that, I have a lot of faith and trust that the company is going to get these figures out and get them made. But with these 3 waves that they've already announced, nothing's really seemed like it's come along. We don't seem like we've gotten very far. There are some prototypes that were sort of shown on the Toy Bro, one of the Toy Bro interviews there, but we haven't seen anything at SDCC. At SDCC, they had a lot of the G.I. Joes, but they didn't have any of these. And so that gets me to wonder, I'm starting to wondering, like, why are you not showing this product? Are you far behind in production? Is that what the issue is? Or is it deeper than that? Are they struggling with this license themselves? Because that's a definite possibility. But there's another possibility that if they really did contact Ramen Toy and did sub out the license, even though they don't truly own the license, it could have put their ability to make these in danger. So I truly don't know what Super 7 did with Ramen or what the negotiations were with that. Some of what I'm talking about is a bit of speculation. But I do want to say that I'm excited for Ramen Toy and Super 7 making Silverhawks. I just want the stuff. It's really not the burden on me as a fan, as a YouTube creator, to iron out all the details. It's my job to buy the stuff, to make sure my payment processes, and then to make a review and be as honest as I can in my review. That's really where I sit in all this. But I want to know that there's a future. Again, I love what Ramen's doing with the 80s Commanders. Those figures look fantastic, and they're giving fans what they want. But as you can see, side by side, none of these are exact replicas of anything vintage, and none of these match the on-screen counterparts exactly. In fact, fans were irate that the heads were so off. I feel like we've got a win with this Quicksilver. I like the figure. I want more of them. I think that when we get the Monstar, I'm going to like it even more. I actually think I'm going to like Monstar more than Quicksilver. I just think that it looks so visually appealing and stunning. I want to see more of these, and I'm excited for the future of Ramen Toy with Silverhawks. I'm also excited for what we're going to get from Super 7, and I think that they'll blend well together. I think that you can have the Silverhawks from Super 7 and then the Titanium Titans from Ramen Toy and put them all on a shelf and make a very interesting display. It'll be interesting to see how this pans out because there's so many other franchises that obviously have lapsed with the copyrights and are out there in limbo, and pun intended. So let me know what you guys think about the Ramen Toy Silverhawks and now going to be Titanium Titans. What do you think about Super 7's take on the figures? Which take do you like more? Do you like them both for different reasons? Are you in on either one? Are you out on both? Let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Put your finger out.